If you're trying to buy or sell a home in Frisco or Prosper right now, here's the thing that almost nobody is saying out loud. These two markets, just a few miles apart, are not behaving the same way at all. One of them just handed buyers real leverage, while the other is still posting double-digit price gains. So in this video, I'm going to pull the main numbers and explain to you what they actually mean for your move, whether you're buying or selling. When looking at the May data for both cities, the story is really the split. Frisco is the steady one, and Prosper is the one that's moving fast and not in the direction that the headlines might make you believe it is. Inventory is the key to all of it, so that is where we're going to start. Now, one quick note about the numbers. Everything I'm showing you today is based on single family homes. I did not include condos or townhomes. Just so you know, we are going to be comparing like to like. Now in Frisco, total inventory is up about 1.8% year over year, so just a nudge. The total supply of homes in terms of months sits at 5.4, whereas in Prosper, inventory is up 26.5% year over year. That's a really big jump in just 1 year. And months of supply in Prosper is now at 7.5. Now, for context, months supply, a balanced market is usually somewhere between 5 and 6 months supply of homes. So in Frisco right now, you're sitting right in that zone, but Prosper has tipped into buyer favorable territory for the first time in years. That means more homes, more choice, more time to decide. Now looking at demand, the clearest read on current demand is pending sales. And pending sales are deals that have just recently gone under contract. Now in Frisco, those are down a modest 2.4% year over year. In Prosper, they're down 24.5% year over year. That is a really steep drop. Now, closed sales, those look a little bit different. Closed sales in Frisco for May were actually up 22.3%, but in Prosper, they were down 17%. The one thing to point out though is that closed sales are what's known as a lagging indicator. They reflect deals that went under contract 6 weeks to 2 months ago. They are not an indication of where the market is right now. The pending sales are the live signal, and they're telling me that buyers in Prosper are really pulling back. You have rising supply meeting cooling demand at exactly the same time, and that combination shifts leverage in favor of buyers. Now looking at home prices, here's where the two markets clearly part ways. The median sales price in Prosper is up 12.6% year over year, whereas in Frisco, it's down 2.2%. And when you pull resale apart from new construction, the divergence still holds up. Prosper resale, normal homeowners selling, is up 12.9% year over year. Frisco resale prices were down 2.8% year over year. So new construction, I should say, is soft in both markets. 12% down in Frisco and 10% down in Prosper. So Prosper homeowners have really seen strong appreciation. That part is absolutely real. But here's the question that matters. How do the prices keep climbing when inventory just jumped 26.5% and pending sales fell almost 25%? And the answer is they don't, at least not for long. Closed sales prices, as I mentioned, are the rear view mirror, right? They tell you what happened to deals that started a couple of months ago. In the case of new construction, it could be many, many months ago. The windshield, looking forward, the leading indicators are telling us something different. Inventory is piling up. Buyers are slowing down. And the share of sellers cutting their price before homes go under contract is now 50% in Prosper and 45.7% in Frisco. So half of Prosper sellers are already listing their price. They're starting out too high. The appreciation number is strong today, but when you look at everything underneath, it's pointing to a market that's definitely softening. It's what I'd call a breeze. It's not a storm, and it's not an indication that there's some major red flags on the horizon. So what do you do with this information? Well, if you're a seller, especially in Prosper, the lesson's fairly blunt. The market is not going to bail out an aggressive price anymore. Homes that are priced right and show well, they're still selling. Many of them are getting a lot of interest and a lot of activity. But if there's homes priced on last year's optimism, well, they're sitting and then they're having to cut. And then a couple weeks later, they might have to cut again. And a price cut after you've been on the market just a short time is going to cost you a lot more money than if you had just priced it correctly in the beginning. Buyers have options now. Your house has to earn the showing. So what about if you're buying? Well, if you're buying, the most leverage that you've had in a long time exists, especially in Prosper. There's more inventory. More sellers are now willing to negotiate, and builders are competing for the same buyer that many of the sellers are. That doesn't mean that as a buyer, you should wait forever thinking there's an impending crash. There is no distress in our local market. There's no flood of forced sellers. It means you have room to be selective and to negotiate, which you didn't have just a couple of years ago. Remember, home prices are always just a reflection of supply and demand. And right now, demand has been soft while supply has been climbing. That creates conditions that we have not seen here locally in quite some time. Normal conditions. There's not, again, any signs of distress in our market currently. So to answer the question I get more than anything else right now, is it a good time to buy or sell? And the honest answer to that question is the people that are moving right now aren't doing so to time the market. It's not an opportunistic market. People that are buying and selling right now are doing so because, well, life moved. They have a new job, or there's a job relocation. They've got a growing family. They're downsizing. One of those things. I'm actually living this right now myself. My son, I'm helping him and his wife buy a home. They recently got married and they have a new baby. It's time for them to get their own place. That's what's compelling the move, not because it's, okay, well, if I time this or rates do this or that. The rate, the headline, the perfect moment, none of that is why they're buying. Life is. So if your life is pointing you towards a move in Frisco or Prosper, the smart play isn't guessing. It's understanding exactly where your specific street and price point sit in this current market split. And that's the conversation I have with potential buyers and sellers each and every day. It's completely free, and there's a link in the description below where you can schedule a call and we can look at your specific situation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.